everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic, and this is what happened at Crown Jewel 2023. Get your crowns on. And this pay-per-view had the return of the pre-show match. It was Sami Zayn versus JD McDonagh. Sami is really over with the Saudi Arabian crowd, as he was last time, obviously just getting a huge reaction even before the opening bell. Then there's a slight miscommunication where a monkey flip goes a little bit wrong and JD has a bit of a scary landing. However, McDonagh's on top for the vast majority of this match, just getting heat on Sami for ages, getting the crowd behind Sami, and when Sami finally makes his comeback, reversing a moonsault with a little kick to the face, everybody comes unglued. From there, Sami hits the Helluva Kick and then the Blue Thunder Bomb and picks up the pre-show victory. The first match of the main portion of the show is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Freakin Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Drew is on top early on, catching Seth off a dive and nailing him with a belly-to-belly on the outside. But Seth fights back into the match with a Falcon Arrow, but Drew avoids the pedigree attempt, then gets a near fall off the Future Shock DDT. Always been a lovely move, hasn't it? A unique spot next as Seth takes a nasty sidewalk slam off the ring steps onto the apron. Seth takes a headbutt, but then he manages to hit the pedigree. Drew kicks out, but it's only a weak kick out. Drew sets up for the Claymore, but Seth counters it with a super kick and then a stomp, but Drew clings on. McIntyre then avoids a Phoenix Splash from Rollins and hits the Claymore for a very near fall. It was quite convincing. Seth again avoids the Claymore, then hits the pedigree and the stomp, then takes a little bit of time to make the cover. It's not quite Triple H versus Booker T, but he takes a little bit of time to make the cover, but it is enough to get the win, and Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. But then Damian Priest's music hits and he comes out and tries to cash in the briefcase. It looks for a second like he's actually going to, but then he's attacked by a masked man. That masked man unmasks, and it's none other than Sami Zayn, who steals the briefcase and runs off through the crowd. Backstage, we see a dejected Drew sat there all frustrated because he lost the match. Rhea Ripley walks past and just gives him a shrug, as if to say, well, you should have accepted our help. Also, Rhea looks a bit unconcerned about Priest just having his briefcase stolen, but okay. Next up, we have Rhea Ripley defending her title against 4 other women: Nia Jax, Zoey Starks, Shayna Baszler, and Raquel Rodriguez. Rhea even gets a special entrance where, she gets, basically a cordon of men will come out and will stand and, form almost like a guard of honor for her. But it takes so long. They walk out one by one, and it takes minutes and minutes and minutes. Anyway, the match finally gets underway. Everyone tries to roll up the champion early on, but Rhea survives. Then everyone teams up to take out Nia for a little bit. Then Rhea takes out everyone else, and we get a face-off and a brawl in the middle of the ring between Nia and the champion. At one point, Shayna Baszler locks in 3 submissions at once. Zoey Stark eventually breaks it up, but the other 3 women involved were all caught in those submissions for a long time, all hanging on in there. There's a Tower of Doom spot as well, and then, maybe the nicest spot of the match, Zoey Stark with a lovely springboard to the outside, taking out not only several opponents, but a cameraman as well who got too close to the action. Way. No, but I hope he's all right, obviously. Back in the ring, Zoey hits her finisher on Rhea. 1, 2, but then Nia Jax breaks it up with the laziest breakup of a pinfall I've ever seen. She just nudges her with her foot. Later on, Raquel covers Shayna Baszler, but Rhea heads up top, hits the riptide off the middle rope onto Zoey Starks, onto Raquel, onto Shayna beneath her. Hopefully the screenshot makes it clear what I've just tried to describe there. From there, Rhea covers Shayna, 1, 2, 3, and Rhea Ripley retains the championship and brags about it heelishly. But it's weird because I think pretty much everyone's like, no, good. We're glad that you kept the belt. Well done. Next up, it's John Cena versus Solo Sikoa. Cena is in control early on, working the hand, clever, possibly trying to nullify that Samoan spike. We'll see how that works out for him. Solo gets on top and hits a banzai drop out the corner. He then misses the spike, but avoids an attitude adjustment attempt. Cena reverses another spike attempt, this time into a crossface, but Solo counters it by rolling backwards, and Cena has to release the hold or get pinned. We get a unique move next with a diving headbutt from Solo, running across the ring and diving onto Cena, who's in the Tree of Woe position, and I've misspelled that in my notes as the Tree of Wow position. Another spike is avoided and Cena runs through 4 of the 5 moves of Doom, but then Solo manages to avoid the AA. Later on, Cena reverses a spike again, this time with kind of a rock bottom, but then Solo reverses an AA into his big spinning Uranagi, so his kind of version of the rock bottom, I guess. Ooh. Cena catches another spike into the STF, but Solo battles out of it and hits the spike out of nowhere. And from here, we get quite a unique part of the match. Solo hits another spike, and a third one, and a fourth one, and several more with Cena on the ground, and then pins him. And I think this was the right call, but the crowd in Riyadh were not happy. Soto leaves triumphantly. It's the biggest win of his career, and it's a bold booking decision, but one that I think is very interesting, possibly leading to a Cena retirement match sometime. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. John gets a big standing ovation as he leaves, and I think it's well-deserved. I think this was, so far, the best match on the show. Now it's time for Miz TV with special guest Saudi Arabian actor and comedian Ibrahim Al-Hijaj. He is apparently the star of the highest grossing Saudi Arabian movie ever, according to Michael Cole, and Barrett says that he had his sides splitting with his comedy. I'm like, yeah, Barrett, go on, mate. But the segment doesn't last very long before Grayson Waller interrupts and says, no, this isn't time for Miz TV. It's time for the Grayson Waller effect. And all the crew come out with like the set for the Grayson Waller effect, the graphics change on the Tron and everything. Miz is furious. He says, I've been here 20 years, and he's been here 20 minutes, and this is the disrespect I get. Waller cuts a heel promo on Miz and says basically he's washed up and past it, and Grayson Waller's the new hot thing on the scene. But then Ibrahim chimes in and says the best talk show in WWE is Miz TV. Waller tells him to get out of his ring and then kicks poor Ibrahim and kicks him to the apron, and Ibrahim's down and he's a non-wrestler, so he's hurt. But then Miz blindsides Grayson Waller, sets him up for the skull-crushing finale, but instead him and Ibrahim do like, you know that enziguri in the corner that like X Division guys and cruiserweights do? I'm like, oh my god, Ibrahim and Miz are like the new Motor City Machine Guns? Miz then hits the skull-crushing finale, the crowd legitimately chant Miz TV, Miz TV, and that's how this segment ends. Lovely, a happy story for all. The next match is for the United States Championship. Rey Mysterio defending against Logan Paul. Logan gets a special entrance in a dune buggy, and Barrett says, Cole, I've been in meetings with you all day, and I could have been racing around the deserts in that thing. Barrett's having a good time tonight. Logan is on top of this match first, but then Rey starts busting out the lucha stuff, so Logan has to take a breather on the outside. Logan then does get on top and beats down Rey for quite a long while, actually. He also shows off his strength, pressing him over his head a few times, and his athleticism as well with one of those big splashes. However, Logan misses a charge in the corner and flies to the outside of the ring. Once he gets back in, Rey takes control, but then Logan manages to nail the buckshot lariat. It only gets 2 though. Logan misses the big right hand and Rey locks in a crossface. Logan struggles and eventually makes the ropes. Rey then, we get a scary moment here as Rey goes for a springboard moonsault and basically almost spikes himself on the top of his head. And Logan kind of saves him, like he catches him just in time, but it's still really scary. I don't know if Logan was at fault because he was initially stood too far away and had to race in and it was closer than it should have been, or whether Rey kind of slipped and Logan literally saved his neck. I don't know, but either way, it was a very lucky escape. Anyway, Logan hits a very impressive moonsault fall-away slam off the top. It doesn't finish the match, though. Rey then goes for a 619. Logan catches it, and then Rey manages to retain the momentum of the match with a code red, but it only gets 2. Then we get the bout's turning point as one of Logan's cronies with a really cheeky face on him. Look at that. Pierce pointed that out to me, and I was like, oh my god, he's right. He's got such a cheeky face. Anyway, this guy gives Logan the brass knuckles, and then Logan gets hit by Rey from behind and drops the knuckles back outside of the ring. Logan's crony scuttles over to try and pick them up, but then Santos Escobar gets out the crowd and picks up the brass knuckles and chases this guy around. But Santos Escobar is also the stupidest man in the world because he leaves the brass knuckles right on the apron where Logan can get them again. Logan then gets set up for the 619, but predictably the brass knuckles are right where he needs them. He can't believe it. Puts them on. Rey hits the 619, goes for the splash. Logan hits a big right hand with the brass knucks and becomes the new United States champion. After the match, Logan celebrates. Rey looks devastated, slumped in the corner, and Logan goes over to him and says, "You're my hero, man. Thank you so much." And Rey says, "You know what you did." And Logan goes, "I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Thanks for a great match." And that's it. Next up, Iyo Sky defends the WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. They go back and forth to start until Bianca gains control with a big vertical delayed suplex and a handspring moonsault for a near fall. But Iyo gets back on top by working Belair's injured knee. Bianca fights back. She does a nice little nip up, but she's still limping around. Even more so when Iyo hangs her in the Tree of Woe and then shotgun drop kicks the knee. Later, Iyo grabs the braid, but Bianca uses it to pull her into the ring post. At this stage, Bayley comes along to distract Bianca and Iyo retakes control, but she doesn't seem too happy to see Bayley there at ringside. Bianca rolls to the outside and Iyo moonsaults onto her on the outside. Very nice indeed, but later on, Bianca is back in control, only for the referee to be distracted by Bayley during a pinfall. Bianca's obviously annoyed. She hits Bayley with a big right hand and crossbodies over the top onto her on the outside. Iyo comes to the outside to get involved as well, but Bianca moves and Iyo accidentally decks Bayley. Bianca gets into another tussle with Bayley on the outside and Bianca takes control. She goes for the KOD, but then Bayley is pulled down and saved effectively by evil Kairi Sane. She's back, and now she's evil. Kairi takes out Bianca, who gets hit with a moonsault as soon as she crawls back into the ring, and Iyo Sky retains. Iyo and Kairi beat down Bianca, and Kairi hits her very nice elbow drop, and they hug it out. But Bayley on the outside doesn't look too pleased at all. They mention on commentary that it was effectively Bayley who retired Kairi from WWE, who ran her out of the company. Next up, Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes. Priest jumps Cody before the bell, but Cody fights back so bravely because he's such a babyface. Cody is in control of the opening stages, but crucially, he's often favoring that injured ankle. The disaster kick gets a 2 count, but then they go outside and Priest takes control. He also hits the Reckoning on the announce table. Very Crossroads-esque, isn't it? They mention this on commentary. They really hammer it home. Back inside, the crowd taunt Priest with chants of "Where's your briefcase?" and another cheeky chant that's just "You suck, you suck, you suck." Lots of heat on Priest, which I think is good for him, but also says a lot about how over Cody is. Cody manages to hit the Crossroads, but Priest survives. Then Baszler comes out and distracts the referee so that JD McDonagh can slide in the back of the ring and try and sneak attack Cody, but Cody senses it coming and decks him with a big right hand. However, it allows Priest to gain control of the match, hit South of Heaven, but Cody kicks out at 2. Finn Balor beckons someone out from the back, and here comes Dom with a steel chair, but Jey Uso arrives out of nowhere with a super kick and chases Dom away, and I think he either super kicked Dom or Balor. Basically, Jey, I think, took care of both of them. Sorry, I was just so excited in all the chaos. I hope that Owen or Pierce on the edit can convey what happened better than I saw it happen. But anyway, the story is that Jay's taken care of. It's just Cody and Priest now. Is Cody going to be able to win? We'll find out. Cody hits the Cody Cutter and the Dusty Elbow, but it only gets a near fall. Another Cody Cutter, the one where he steps up onto the top rope in the corner, that gets a near fall as well. But then finally, Cody manages to put Priest away with not 1, not 2, but 3 Crossroads in a row. It's a big win for Cody. Big loss for Priest, though, you might say. And finally, the main event for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, almost forgot what it was called, Roman Reigns defending against LA Knight. Yeah. The crowd are heavily behind Knight early on, as you'd expect, and throughout the match, really. He sets up for his LA Knight, elbow drop, but Heyman distracts him by... all I can describe this as was trying to get on the apron and struggling really a lot, like a small little child. It was very funny. Knight is very much in control, but then Roman throws him into the ring steps on the outside, and we get into the usual Roman Reigns heat segment of any main event match these days, where he grinds his opponent down very slowly and methodically. However, LA Knight gets some hope with a big, I think it was like a bulldog from the top, and they have an exchange of right hands in the middle of the ring, which LA Knight wins. He builds up more momentum, but Roman ends that with a Uranagi, which Cole incorrectly calls a rock bottom, but it wasn't. It was a Uranagi. His feet stayed on the ground. Knight avoids the spear with a leapfrog and does his very impressive bound up to the top rope into a superplex and hits the LA Knight elbow, but it only gets 2. At this point, Solo comes out to the ramp and officials try to get him to go away, which back at ringside allows Jimmy to pull Roman out of the ring and out of harm's way. Knight isn't happy. He grabs Jimmy through the ropes, but leaves himself open to a Superman punch. Roman gets back in the ring, big spear, but LA Knight kicks out at 2. Roman locks in the guillotine, but Knight slowly, bravely fights out, and then out of nowhere hits the BFT. 1, 2... Jimmy puts Roman's leg on the ropes. Knight takes it to Jimmy on the outside. He's sick of him. He's slamming his head into the announce table. Roman comes along to get involved, but Knight fights him off and then puts Jimmy through the announce table. But as he staggers back, Roman spears Knight through the crowd barricade. Back in the ring, Roman hits another spear, and that's all she wrote. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns is still the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Who could have seen it coming, guys? So there you have it, a brave effort from LA Knight, yeah. But I think probably the most notable things were the return of Kairi Sane, of course, Evil Edition, and Solo's dominant, impressive victory over John Cena. But let me know what you thought of the show in that comment section down below. Big shout out as well to Owen and Piers on the edit for this one. Thank you very much, guys, and thank you to everybody for watching as well. I've been Jack from Cultaholic, and I'll see you very soon.